How's it going, everybody? My name is Landon, but on here I go by landumb. And this game right here is better than you remember. Lockdown in 2020 is a time that's going to go down in the history books, and if it's not already, it's going to be a nostalgic time for you in a couple years probably. All sorts of fun stuff happened in 2020. The NBA season shut down, obviously, because of Rudy Gobert, and the Lakers won the Mickey Mouse Championship. It was probably one of the more recent golden ages of gaming that we've had in our time. Fortnite was hitting a second prime, Apex Legends was still young, Fall Guys and Among Us had the world in a chokehold. But among all these gaming franchises, it was Call of Duty that had me and my friends' interest. Man, Verdansk, what a time to be alive. This map simultaneously made me want to throw a brick through my monitor and also call in sick to work to play all day with the boys. Hey, that's how you know you got a good map though, not like this Pacific Warfare Caldera map they ended up coming up with.
Please don't do this. You don't have to do this.
Yeah, unfortunately I do.
And here it was in 2020 that Call of Duty saw everyone sick and, oh, I don't want to go into work. And they said, get back to work because we've got a Call of Duty in 2020 to make, baby. And what we got is one of the best Call of Duty since Black Ops 3, and also is probably going to be one of the best CODs looking back on it in the next 5 or so years, minimum. Call of Duty could not lose in this time. Warzone was on a run hotter than TJ Warren in the 2020 NBA playoffs, and morale was at an all-time high in the COD business. A Cold War dropping in 2020 was a really nostalgic time for me, I'd like to just say that. Could just be because 2020 was an all-around good time to have no responsibilities and be a teenager, but it was Fortnite and Among Us and Warzone season. Life was kind of hard not to enjoy, like, can you blame me? Me and the boys went over to one of our friends' houses, and heck yeah, we're gonna be playing S&D, multiplayer, zombies, all frickin' night. My pre-order didn't install. Sick! No, this was a devastating moment. I mean, guys, like, you guys know me, I'm a retired anime channel, I make gaming content, and the Packers have sucked in the playoffs for 10 years. This was my Super Bowl, like, come on. This is what I was waiting all year for. One of my friends had to run home in the dead of night because he had parental controls on his Xbox, which didn't allow him to play an M-rated video game. So, you know, as any person with a brain would functionally, you know, deduct from this situation, I'm gonna run home at midnight, wake up my parents to tell them I want to play Call of Duty. What is the passcode to the Xbox? But any normal person would probably die. My friend didn't though. He actually managed to survive this. His parents were just kind of like, oh yeah, go play Call of Duty, son. This feels like a very weird alternate reality where his parents were just perfectly okay with him waking up at 1 a.m. on a, you know, where they probably had work the next day to play a video game. And this was still horrendous for me because I still couldn't even play my game at the time. All around though, it's a fun memory. And you know what? Cold War was a great game as I went home to play it the next day. But what really made the game so good, you ask? The marketing for Cold War was pretty much second to none in the COD franchise recently. It had the really cool reveal event, as I already said. Vanguard did have an event, but I had to Google this thing to even figure out what it was. And then I realized, oh yeah, I did do this event. It was just so freaking forgettable, I don't even remember what happened. And Modern Warfare 2 had pretty bare bones amount of hype. They had Mountain Dew Game Fuel on their side and Burger King meals. That was about it. Sledgehammer Games and Raven Software couldn't work together on a unified vision for the 2020 COD release, so Activision had Treyarch pull out of their 2021 game and take over for the 2020 COD release while Raven and Sledgehammer Games helped them. So Cold War really only got maybe 2 years or less of development time rather than the normal 3-year development window, which most games get. What's funny about this is that it shows how desperate Activision is for Treyarch games. They got a game due for 2024. Like, we need to load manage these dudes like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Cold War was also marketed with a cool ARG where COD YouTubers were sent crates with messages and projectors, which eventually led to teasing zombies. There were websites marketed by Call of Duty that had ciphers and puzzles that fans could solve, and even had videos of news and video segments of Cold War footage from actual history that corresponded to the timeline of the game's campaign. It's pretty cool stuff. And then once some of the ciphers were solved, people found that these codes and messages led to specific spots on the Warzone map. Hey, listen, shout out to the, you know, Sherlock Holmes and Watsons of the Call of Duty community, but listen, who does this stuff? But they thought through the marketing so well for this game. Like, it all had a matching aesthetic and personality to this game that Vanguard and Modern Warfare don't freaking have. So after all this cool hype and stories from myself, what was the game actually like?
Someone cooked here.
I won't deny it, the game off rip was pretty average, I won't deny it. The main part that slowed this game down for most people was the multiplayer content, or lack thereof. Pretty much everything functioned decently well, except there were only about 7 or 8 multiplayer maps at launch, which isn't bad, but it's also not great. Personally, I didn't think they were amazing. Outside of Moscow and Satellite, there weren't a lot of maps that really piqued my interest. The multiplayer was pretty mid in the eyes of most people off launch, and I agree it wasn't anything special in the first month. It also wasn't that bad, and it sure was more fun than the past COD multiplayers. What sold me on this game's multiplayer more than others is that it isn't plagued with campers. The maps encourage movement and run and gun playstyles that Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 19 just don't have. Cold War is also one of the most unique Call of Duty multiplayers out of this new era of COD. The TTK and speed of this game is actual perfection. I'm not even kidding you, in Modern Warfare 2 and Vanguard, the TTK is basically non-existent. You shoot a guy 2 or 3 times, they're dead. In Cold War, half the time I actually play this game, I find myself actually having to try physically aim my weapon, and I will agree aim assist is I don't miss a shot strong in this game. But the TTK being so much higher in this game makes it a lot easier and you had to work more for your kills. Slide canceling and movement was in a perfect balance here. Yes, you couldn't tack sprint, yes, you couldn't slide cancel, so some people were mad. But you also had a better average normal sprint that lasted longer, and you weren't penalized for things like ADSing while sliding, or just even ADSing while jumping. This game just had creativity though, man. None of this stiff Modern Warfare, ultra realistic military crap. It's got such uncanny replay value for me too. I'm still playing this game in 2023 as opposed to other CODs. You want to fight your friends with baseball bats? You want to have a sniper 3v3 tournament, or perhaps play Nuketown 24/7? You want to play an open world zombies experience, or perhaps maybe one of the many gunfight tournaments that still go on and have lobbies in 2023. Only Cold War could pull off something as mega goofy as having a nail gun and actually make it cool. Okay, I'll talk about it. SBMM does hold the game back. Cold War's system works off of performance-based matchmaking, which I think is trash, as does most of the world. Basically, if you do good, get ready, because you'll either do bad or mediocre the next game, deciding on if you want to try hard.
Me and my people are leaving.
This makes weapon grinding annoying for, grinding camos and stuff like that, because you gotta decide if you're gonna all-out sweat it out and try to make a Custer's last stand while you're playing Satellite or something, or you gotta all-out tank like the first round draft pick is on the line. I never really understood why the multiplayer got so much hate. Pretty much all the issues I was talking about earlier was just me trying to play both sides and kind of address the issues for both sides. But I'm not kidding you, if you play this game now, you will not be disappointed. But I hopped back on zombies after about 1.5 to 2 years of not really touching it too much, and I was greeted by loads of content. Outbreak has been fleshed out to the max, as well as just a lot of other random game modes within zombies to play. Of course, it has been about 2.5 years since, consistent updates have been added, so obviously there's gonna be a lot of content in an old Call of Duty game, you might ask. But this game was literally getting updates. I felt like every single week I would hop on and there'd be a new map, a new gun, a new mode out, a new playlist. Like Modern Warfare 2 had just a severe lack of content in the game. Cold War, they were just adding things, and I was okay with that. It's funny how I've talked so much about how I like this game, and I haven't even talked about probably the best part of this game.
We've got a job to do.
It's campaign. This campaign is one of the few things that hasn't changed since launch, even though I wish it was getting a DLC. I'm kind of okay with it staying how it is. It's really just a 10 out of 10 campaign. You get different paths based on your choices, the decisions you make actually matter, and your character isn't just some sort of like spectator in this one. It makes you feel so much more immersed in this. The characters are written well, compelling backstories and connections are made with the main cast, and it's just about a 5 to 6 hour story mode. This game's got very lifelike and compelling cutscenes with really great graphics for a rushed game, and every cutscene in this game, or scene where the game revolves around choices you make, is done so well. It feels very real and grounded, more than Modern Warfare does to me. Multiple endings was also a thing I thought that should be in more campaigns, and it worked great in Cold War. Each one is really interesting too, since it makes the replay value not really a chore. Which is nice that having multiple endings gives you a way around reviving people for future campaigns. They can just say, oh, well, we picked this ending to be the canon ending, instead of...
Well, I wasn't in that tank.
Well, that's it. I ranted for about 15 or 20 minutes about a 3-year-old game that's already been forgotten by most of the community. Anyway, though, Modern Warfare 3 will probably be pretty good. I mean, I enjoyed Modern Warfare 2 for the first couple months. I can definitely enjoy a better version of it. I don't know, this game could be okay, it could be bad. I have really no idea what to expect, but regardless, you guys have a good rest of your day, have a good rest of your year, and I appreciate you for watching the video. Apologize for it taking so long to get out, but that's my fault, so hopefully it'll be out next time faster. Anyway, alright, see you guys later, bye.